afternoon, South Africa, and a very warm welcome to you on this glorious Friday afternoon. My name's Jeannie D, and we are going to have a show filled with laughs because we don't have one, but we have two of South Africa's funniest men in the loft today. Firstly, we have Kurt Schoonraad and Rob van Vuuren. They're going to be discussing a very exciting project where they're going down under to Australia. And Rob van Vuuren also has a brand new TV show coming up called Showville, an exciting new talent competition starting on SABC 2 in February. But it wouldn't be a gorgeous, hot Friday without some music. Tell us more about that, Danilo.
Indeed. Hello, South Africa. Welcome to Afternoon Express. I'm Danilo Acquistos. Now, today we're joined in the loft by a lady who's taking the world by storm. Her name is Can Skylark, but Afternoon Express always likes to get the exclusive. And you know, this is where you relax in our loft, you kind of chill out. We want to know the real story. Is your full name really Can Skylark?
No, that's the pseudonym. My actual name is 3 days long. By the time the MC would announce it, the show would be over. Yeah.
Okay, looking forward to finding more about your career, which is blowing up at the moment. Time Bomb, your single, also doing so well. Plus, there's a live performance right here on Afternoon Express. Clem, what's up?
Also a pseudonym, by the way.
Oh, is it? What is your real name? Clementemenemani.
Yeah.
So I said what's up, and you didn't get my joke because we're making a sub today on the show. We're using something that's not chicken, though, for deep frying.
It's called a chicken fried steak, but there's no chicken involved.
Interesting.
It's steak. And you're going to be in the kitchen with me?
Lekker, I'm very excited about that. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. AfternoonExpress.co.za is where you can find the recipe and the shopping list for this delicious recipe. And you're going to have to stay tuned later in the show to find out exactly what we mean by chicken fried steak. Don't forget to stand by for that. In the meantime, Jeannie's on the couch.
Thanks, Danilo. Now, Showville is a brand new and very unique talent show coming to SABC 2 in February. The show focuses on the smaller and often overlooked towns in South Africa, where they're given the chance to showcase their talent. The judges aim to find South Africa's most interesting, quirky and unusual acts. Joining us to chat about this exciting new project is the presenter and mentor on the show, comedian Rob van Vuuren. Welcome.
Thank you. Jeannie D. I can't believe it.
Okay, now tell me about Showville. What a fantastic concept.
Yes, it's amazing. I can honestly say I've done a lot of TV and I've done a lot of kind of talent-orientated TV shows.
Yes.
And this is the best television experience I've had. It's a talent show, but it's a talent show with real heart and soul. It's a beautiful, beautiful show. We travel from small town to small town. We're getting to really investigate talent that's overlooked, underappreciated. Amazing, amazing experience. Overall, it's made me feel so incredibly positive about this country. I've fallen in love with SA all over again, small town South Africa. As a boykie from small town South Africa, it was an honour and a privilege.
Where are you from originally?
I was born in PE, but my formative years were spent in a tiny little farming community outside of East London called Brakfontein.
Lovely. I think it's so important because South Africa is comprised of so many little small towns. So I want to know where you went, because you know there's places in South Africa called Hot as Hell and Twee Buffels met een skoot mors dood geskietfontein. So where did you go?
We did 26 different towns. We did the Western Cape, Free State and KZN. Places I've never been to. I mean, the Free State, we did Zastron, Ladybrand, Fariesburg.
And had you heard of any of these places before?
Yeah, a lot of them. I mean, you as a South African, you hear of these places all the time, but to like really immerse yourself in the town. And we only spent 3 days in each town. The first day we do open auditions where everyone comes and we check out their talent. We select 4 finalists. The second day we work with those 4 finalists to really kind of mold their act and make it strong. The final day is the third day, and we do a show in the town hall in front of the townsfolk, and then the townsfolk get to select their finalists.
Each town has their winner, so it's not a national competition, it's a town competition.
Whole thing. So it really is about kind of unearthing the talent in the town and highlighting the town itself. So while we're in there and working with the acts, we're also doing activities in and around the town. We're meeting people of interest around the town.
Brilliant.
Like a place like Riversdale that I've driven through so many times. I thought I knew the place. But once you actually immerse yourself and you really get to know the locals, it's a completely different experience. Unforgettable.
Amazing.
Yeah, really, really cool.
So you co-hosting with Bontle Modisele,
Yeah.
and what was the experience like? Because both of you have experienced dancing, so were you a little bit harder on the people who entered for dancing?
Look, Bontle definitely was, because
Yeah.
she's a proper dancer.
Yeah.
I'm like a part-time pretender. And I found that out the hard
Your
way.
hips don't lie.
Put me next to Bontle, you'll see my hips are full of lies. Bontle was amazing. She was amazing. You know, she's really young. I mean, she's got a wealth of experience with the amount of time that she's been working in the industry. But I was blown away by how good she really is.
That's great.
She's a natural. She's smart. Like everything was off the cuff. You know, we had so little time to really kind of prepare stuff. So a lot of it was just happening off the cuff, which I'm very happy to do. And I was like going, I don't know if she's going to be able to keep up with me. Most of the time I was trying to keep up with her.
Yeah.
So good, talented in so many different ways. You know, really empathetic as a human being. So she could really kind of connect to people on an emotional level, but then also like give them the kind of professional feedback that they really needed. So I was blown away. She's going to take this country by storm. She's the next big star.
Oh, well, we're looking forward to having her on our couch then. We'll look out for her. Now, let's discuss the talent that you came across all over South Africa.
I was blown away by the quality of talent out there. Like really, really amazing. There wasn't a show where we felt like we don't have a star.
Wow.
Every place we went to, there was just this hidden gem that came out and blew us away. And what's great about this show is we're not looking for a specific type or a specific look. It was just about like, if you've got a talent and if you can wow a crowd, that's what we're looking for.
And it could have gone from juggling to singing to dancing.
We had guys balancing wheelbarrows on their chins. We had crazy stuff. Obviously a lot of singing and dancing, because that's the stuff that people can relate to across the board. A place like Sedgefield, I'll never forget that all 4 of our finalists could have won in any other town. They were really, really incredible. Riversdale, I mentioned already.
Yeah.
We met a girl there who, world class. She could step on a stage anywhere in the world and blow people away. And that's really the amazing thing about this show, because we come to you. We bring the talent show to your town, so you don't have to have money to be able to access this thing.
Yeah.
And what makes the show really work in South Africa, because it's an American concept, and I saw the American TV show, and I've now seen a couple of edits of our version, and we are like streaks ahead. It's on a different level. The show is beautiful. It looks amazing. It's got everything. It's got comedy, it's got drama, it's got human interest. It really is incredible. But what really works in this country is because small town South Africa is so interesting. We've got so much to offer in terms of that. Our cultural diversity is just so incredible. So you're seeing so many different kinds of people and so many different kinds of talent. And the fact that, you know, we've got a lot of poor people in this country. So the stakes are that much higher for people out there really giving a crack at their dream that they thought they'd never have an opportunity to do. So it's really like, the amount of times I cried on the show is actually embarrassing.
Oh, and so we see you crying a lot on TV. So it sounds like it's going to be like something of an emotional roller coaster.
It's such a cool show. I think South Africa is going to absolutely love it. I certainly hope they do, because I had the most fun, and I fell in love with the show completely. It's honestly the best television experience.
I can't wait to watch it. Rob, don't go anywhere. We're going to be chatting to you about your trip down under.
As well.
Now make sure you tune in for Showville, which debuts on the 6th of February at 7:30 p.m. on SABC2. After the break, Danilo makes us some chicken fried steak subs, and we catch up with comedian Kurt Schoonraad. Stay right where you are.
Salati Plantation Select adds subtle sweetness to toffees, caramel, bran muffins, or sprinkled into a spicy curry. Salati, always good, always sweet.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, you're in the kitchen with us today, and what we're going to be doing is taking the chicken out of fried chicken and miss out of mistake. And we're doing a chicken fried steak fillet.
And you
thing.
got it so right, except
How
not
cool.
a fillet, but chicken fried steak. So you got it.
So why do
well
we call
done.
it chicken fried if there's steak and it's just steak?
It's the technique of how we cook the steak. So you're familiar with southern fried chicken?
Yes.
Coated in buttermilk and
Yes,
flour,
yes,
deep fried, crispy, delicious chicken. Minus the chicken, we're gonna do exactly the same batter on the steak.
Delicious. Okay,
It's
well,
a
I'm
thing.
keen
It's
to-
a thing. Okay, so what I'm doing is I've got a beautiful piece of rump steak right here.
Yeah.
You can use rump, sirloin. I would not use fillet because fillet tends to be a little more leaner, and we're
Yes.
going to cook it further and in the batter, and it might just go dry and
Okay,
tough.
I see what you're saying.
So very important. We look at where the grain of the meat is. It's quite obvious to see, and we always cut against the grain.
Okay.
Why we do that?
So it
is-
breaks quite easy when you take a bite out of it.
You've done this before.
Oh, I have.
I'm so impressed. So this is quite let's just say a food truck inspired dish.
Cool.
It's very American. I mean, chicken fried steak's an American thing.
Yeah, but it seems to be kind of a trend now. Street food, finger foods, you know, things that
Exactly,
are playing
food on
around.
the go, things you can hold in
Yes.
your hand. So I'm thinly slicing the meat just because we're going to be deep frying it, and we don't want it to spend minutes in the pan.
Yes,
it's
it
just to
was
get that
flash
crust. I'm so impressed with you.
Look at me.
Look at you. So I'm going to give you your very manly tongues. Okay. So what if you could get the meat?
It's fine, it'll do.
Into the buttermilk and into the flour. So give it a good coating of the buttermilk.
So I just put all of this in there, then just kind of
Exactly.
coat them all up.
Also, what the buttermilk does is help tenderize it and just helps keep that meat a little more tender and juicy for you.
In fact, I've got two caught up in here. Okay.
You know what? It's all good. I mean, if they fry of two together, someone's going to get lucky.
Oh, really nice big one.
There we
Nice.
go. So a good coating of seasoned flour, and I say seasoned because it's just salt in there. Normally we would season it with some dried spices as well, just to give it some extra flavor. But all we're looking for this part is to get that nice crust on the steak.
Nice. And that's nice sort of crunch as you bite into it, because you've got that soft meat on the inside, obviously. You want to try and get that
Absolutely.
out.
And then what I'm doing is I'm just heating up the oil. We're going to cook it on a very high temperature. Again, we don't want to overcook it. We're working with steak. Whereas
Now-
with chicken, a little longer, so a little cooler on the oil.
Okay.
It's just we're going to keep it a little easier for us today. We're just going to shallow fry.
Nice.
Can I pass some of those on to me?
Sure.
You've done a really
Here's
good
another
job.
one of those.
There we go.
Your very manly little tongs that you've got here.
So that you get it really coated in the flour. Just for purposes right now, we're going to put it straight into the oil. But a good tip is to let the meat actually sit in that flour for about 10 minutes.
Huh.
We've added a moisture on there, the buttermilk. What the
Yes.
buttermilk does with the flour is it actually absorbs all that, well, the flour absorbs all the moisture on the steak, and that will give you more like a much more serious crust.
Crunch.
The crust is a must. There we go.
I agree, because it's one of the things you want to, like I said, bite into a nice crunchy piece of meat. You don't want to have to bite it into it and then you just get the sort of like soft day after.
Exactly.
Don't
do that to yourself.
Don't, man, don't.
So a really hot pan, we let those guys go. They're gonna go for about a minute aside. And what you're gonna end up with is,
Something like this.
okay, you can pass that to me. And I'm gonna pass that to your side. So as you can see, like I said, super crunchy, super crispy. Let it get really golden. Once it hits the pan, let it go.
Okay.
Let it sit for about 30 seconds before you start moving it to turn it over. You don't want to break that crust up as well.
Yes.
So we got this, and now the reason I say we're not going to add extra seasoning to the flour, we're now going to coat it.
Oh,
so if
I
you pass
see.
me that mixing bowl in the end,
This one, yeah?
the clear one, and the barbecue sauce,
Uh-huh. This is just plain old barbecue sauce.
plain old
store-bought.
barbecue, and some really fiery Tabasco sauce, just because that extra vinegary flavor.
Cool.
And you can pass me this little guy. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Good
Got
catch. There we go. So a little bit of barbecue sauce. And then just to balance out the sweetness of the barbecue sauce, we're adding the Tabasco, which is quite vinegary.
Yes.
So it just cuts through that flavor. And once again, it's going to add that heat. I mean,
Nice.
that's great.
Well, something else that I thought was like maybe interesting would be to sort of add like a spicy salt to the actual batter itself, which you can probably do. The nice thing about this is that you're not going to recook this, right?
No, it's done.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's just
totally.
coated all and it's going to give it a nice flavor, almost like you've dipped it in something delicious.
If you're trying to be a little healthier and you're worried about adding extra barbecue sauce to this, I mean, we kind of shallow fried it already.
Yeah.
Totally. A seasoned salt would be amazing on it.
Delicious.
And then you want to do this glazing part.
Okay, so
that's it.
this is it for now.
Part
So
one done,
If you
yes.
want to make this obviously at home, it's pretty simple to go and find. All you have to do is go to our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. The recipe and the shopping list is available for you over there, so you can buy all the ingredients and make your own variation of it. It's a really nice, delicious snack when people are coming over to your house, and it's something slightly different to the usual norm that you would have had maybe with fried chicken or maybe like a fried calamari or something like that. It's time for us to head over to the couch. In the meantime, though,
Next month, 3 of South Africa's top comedians will be heading down to Perth in Australia for the Fringe World Festival, where they will have the Aussies in stitches, true South African style. Joining us back on the couch is Rob van Vuuren, as well as one of Cape Town's funniest, Kurt Schoonraad. Welcome.
Thanks for having us. Cheers.
I quickly want to ask, like the new bearded, more mature look, have Cape Town's hipsters gotten a hold of you?
Well, it seems as if I've been hipsterfied just a little bit. You know, this started off as a Movember that kind of got out of hand, yeah. But I'm liking it. I don't know.
It's sexy. Come on, it is
so
sexy.
I was sitting in the makeup room upstairs, and Kurt walked past, and I actually found myself going,
Can you hear that?
I saw that. I can
She double took at me.
I think it was a triple
Thanks,
take.
Bert.
Okay, now you guys are going down under. How
Yeah.
did this all come about? It's the two of you and then Dave Levinson.
That is correct. Well, somebody showed up at the Cape Town Comedy Club, saw what we did there, and went, "Can you produce it for us in Australia for the Fringe Festival?" I was like, "Yeah, sure we can." So they asked me to put together a lineup, and I put myself on there. And then, of course, I got two of my two guys who paid me to have them on the lineup.
Brilliant.
Didn't come cheap, I can tell you
I'm
that.
teasing. No, we
I'm
got
paying
back a
for the
long
beer.
time, and we wanted a group of guys that travel well together and
Yeah.
that have the big game temperament for what it is we need over there.
Yeah.
And so I'm really looking forward to spending some time with my mates. You know,
Is it the first time that you're going to Australia?
it is for me. You've done it before.
Yeah, I've done that festival. I did it 2 years ago. We did a theatre show there, Three Little Pigs, and I also did a little bit of comedy there as well. So
Okay.
amazing experience. I can't wait to go back and to have like some friends with me, the three of us together. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm sure. Now, South Africa and Australia really do have some kind of a love-hate relationship, which I suppose is mostly fueled by sport.
Indeed.
But how are South African comedians received on an international platform?
We are pretty good. I think it's important to realise that you know, guys like Trevor and Luiso and a couple of other guys who have travelled internationally over the last couple of years have done a lot for kind of paving that way.
Yeah.
And South African comedy has an identity now. People want to know more about it. So, and we come from an interesting space, an interesting time, and they want to know our story. And comedy is always a great way to get it out. And
Yeah.
it's been very well accepted. Last year, I did a show in Germany called Living with a German.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about stories about my missus and being German, of course. And it was really, really well accepted. So it's amazing how South African comedy has now got an identity that people can relate to and they can resonate with.
Yeah.
And we're being invited all over the planet to play a little bit. You know?
It's true. South Africa's quite cool at the moment. We've like kind of the in kids on the block at the moment, which is really amazing. Largely thanks due to guys like Trevor Noah doing so well overseas, and
Yeah.
even people like De Antwoord and Neil Blomkamp.
Yeah.
You know, there's a real interest in us. A couple of 10, 20 years ago, Australia had that kind of cool edge, and I think
Exactly.
there's so much interest in what's happening in South Africa and what's happening culturally in South Africa at the moment, which is very, very exciting.
Now, when you go to the Fringe Festival, do you adjust your material to make it more open and more
Of
worldly
course.
than just South Africanisms?
Definitely. We've got to almost lose all the South Africanisms now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we'll do well. How well we do, I'm not sure. And like any other place, we've got to adapt to what's going on over there. So we'll take whatever's happening in Australia, the weather, whatever it might be, and adapt it to the show.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are going to be some expats, but I'm also sure there are going to be a lot of Australians that have never seen us before.
I think the interesting thing is that you've got to be using references that anyone can get, but at the same time they do actually want a South African perspective.
Yes.
They're coming to see South African comedians, so they
Yeah.
don't want completely generic comedians that
'Cause then
could
anyone
be
could be saying those
exactly.
jokes.
So it's trying to find that balance of giving a unique South African perspective, but on a level that anyone from anywhere can relate to.
And still maintain the South African authenticity in it, you know?
Exactly.
So it's a subtle balance, but I'm pretty sure we're going to do well with it. What's great is we've got a nice perspective to come from because we were the uncool kids first. And that
Yeah.
wasn't too long ago. So now we've never had an opportunity to chat to the world this way before, and now everybody's quite keen to find out what we've got to say. So we're in a very, very special place on a comedy level.
And there's
I think it'll show.
the South African comedy circuit at the moment is very healthy. There's so much going on.
Oh, that's
There's so
excellent.
many, and there's constantly new acts coming up. There's so much interest in it locally. There's so many new comedians, and there's a lot of competition, and guys are pushing each other all the time. So the standard of comedy across the board in this country is very, very high at the moment.
So we're going to be seeing you on Showville, and then where can we catch you in South Africa?
Well,
Unless we have to book seats into Perth.
Well, I've got a national tour coming up later this year, but until then, we're at the Cape Town Comedy Club in the Waterfront most nights.
Brilliant. Thank you guys so much for coming through, and best of luck with
Thank
Australia.
you. Thanks for having us.
And Deanna, and to put a shrimp on the barbie. You see, can't tell jokes.
That's
Anyway.
amazing. You're so good.
After the break, we're on the couch with singer Can Skylark, and it's time to reveal Bonnie's final outfit for the 2016 Met this weekend. So stay right where you are.
Willis and I collaborating to raise 100 million rand through the My School program. Are you with us?
Welcome back to the weekend celebrating edition of Afternoon Express. Our next guest's career has absolutely blown up over the last year, including her single Time Bomb, which was playlisted on international adult contemporary charts in the USA. Her last album, Overdrive, received 4-star rating conducted by an independent audience compatibility study in the USA, which is the highest by any African artist in 30 years. Joining us in the loft today is none other than Can Skylark. Welcome, lady.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. So I do feel like we're going into the weekend. Both of my radio shows are absolutely guaranteed to have something playlisted from Can Skylark. I hear your voice every weekend, and I'm really, really excited about that because, I mean, I get to hear you, and we only get very rare chances to catch up as we do now. So
I'm excited about that, thanks.
Yeah, so congratulations on all the success of late. Time Bomb has been an incredible single. I mean, charting in the US is absolutely amazing. Talk us through that experience.
That was just a mind-blowing experience. I flew up to LA and I worked with some amazing producers and songwriters. The lady by the name of Pam Shane, she and her crew, they came up with the song Time Bomb and we wrote it together in West Hollywood, LA. And that experience alone was mind-blowing. So we decided to go the typical route with the story, a story about love and new love, really. You know, the passion and the intensity and also the fear of feeling new love. And saved up our cash, flew over. Before I knew it, I was in the studio with this amazing woman. I mean, she's written Christina Aguilera's Genie in a Bottle. So that alone should say that she's a heavyweight in the music industry. So that's how that came about. Time Bomb just flew up. Time Bomb.
Getting to work with some of the best, obviously, is a huge dream for a lot of South African artists, and there seems to be this progression of artists to try and make it overseas too. I mean, that transition happened for what reason?
Well, I think it came down to preference for me, really. I know that from my first album, I decided that I wanted to change the game just a little bit and just venture into uncharted waters, really, and try my hand at, you know, what I love, which is pop. My first album was very acoustic sounding, and I decided that, you know, if I want to go pop mainstream, I really need to go to the best, to the cream of the crop. And LA and the States is really where you're going to find that. And I just decided to put my money where my mouth was, or is, and take the plunge and fly to the States. And that is where pop is actually birthed, you know? And I'm an 80s baby, so pop is in my veins. So, yeah.
And I think your fans have also been really responsive to the music. I mean, you've built a really cool community, your Can Skylarkers. I mean, they're really, really excited to be part of this journey. And I mean, everyone is anticipating the 3rd album to be released this year.
Yes, and I'm so grateful to these fans. Wow, thank you so much to all of my fans and supporters. I don't like calling them fans, though. Supporters, thank you so much, guys.
Skylarkers.
Yes, Skylarkers, yeah. 3rd album is going to be a lot more pop. A lot more. I am doing a lot of collaborations on the 3rd album, singers, songwriters, musicians, just getting, you know, more people involved. And I'm also working with producers in the States as well, with a guy called Steve Valenzuela, who has recently worked with Jason Derulo, Kelly Clarkson.
Michael Jackson too, right?
Absolutely, Michael Jackson as well. So those are big names as well. And I mean, I'm so grateful and so honored and privileged to be in the presence of these people, you know, and to share, to rub shoulders with these guys. So I might be doing some songwriting up in LA again in August of this year, and that's what kind of is on the cards for the 3rd album. It's just going to be a wave of madness.
So it's going to be growth we've seen for Can Skylark, which is very exciting. I mean, for somebody who's so busy, you obviously independent, so you've taken a lot of burden on yourself to make sure that your career does move forward, but you've added things like clothing labels and stuff to that. And Mama Goose is something that's going to be released soon. Tell us more about that.
Look, I'm a girl, it's obvious, and I do like fashion and style and, you know, the edginess of different fabrics and materials coming together. So a clothing line was sort of on the cards. It was always on the cards, really. I needed to position myself financially as well as mentally in terms of, you know, building a brand as such, like as clothing as well, along with what I'm already doing. So Mama Goose is basically going to be my style on a lower scale, really, because I've been asked so many questions after doing a performance on stage where people come to me and they'd be like, Can, I love this costume. Oh my gosh, where did you get that? And that fabric is so amazing. And many of what I do or wear on stage, I've just made myself.
Particularly yourself, yeah.
So, I mean, that encouraged me as well to start a line, you know? So it's just going to be my world fusing into everything.
You're a busy woman. So
I
we've got the third album on the way. Mama Goose is also on the way. And you still find time to hopefully give back to the community. I know your initiative is actually really awesome. So I think that's something that we need to share because a lot of artists have got so much value to add. And as somebody who's growing and building their career as they go, you're learning a lot of things along the way. And you're choosing to share some of those skills.
Yes, I understand the importance of giving back. I understand how pivotal it is in our age to plow back into our communities. And the Motive is an initiative that I've started for budding artists, singers, particularly songwriters, and we sort of set a platform for these people to showcase their talent because there aren't, I feel, and this is just my opinion, that there aren't enough A&R agents going out and doing that kind of thing because I know I come a dime a dozen and there are so many talented people who just won't get to see the light of day because nobody else is taking notes of what they're actually doing. So the Motive is an initiative that I've started with my team, and it's an absolutely free of charge initiative, down to the photo shoot, down to the demo recording, down to the show we provide for them. Everything is absolutely free of charge. All I need you to do is show up and do your thing.
Everybody kind of is at one step, step up, that one chance to get a foot in the door as they got. What was your foot in the door when you got started?
The thing was, music chose me. I grew up in a family of musicians, or my late dad was a drummer, my mom an aspiring singer, my sisters all sing. And music was kind of in my home, but it wasn't my first point of departure out of high school because my parents were kind of like, no, because we understood the pitfalls of music. And my dad was kind of like, no, he put up all the red tape and he said, look, this is not what you're going to be doing. We'll channel you in a different direction creatively as well. And I went into graphic design and I was successful. I ran a business and whatever, but music was always tugging at my heartstrings. And I started in church. And then what had happened was I found myself doing these tribute shows. I was recommended to do these shows. And that was kind of my foot in the door because I remember doing a big show and there was a guy in the audience who had come up to me and he was so persistent about doing an album with me and I was flabbergasted and I didn't take him seriously because I thought like, this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen, you know? And eventually I found myself in studio writing some of my first stuff, which is obviously on the album Pure, the first album. And from there on in, that's just where I am now. It's just sort of evolved and it's taken me on its journey. So,
but you're kind of just growing as you go, and this is very exciting that it's organically done what it is, and you've invested so much of your time and your finances in yourself. So I'm very excited to hear the performance that later on in the show. So I think the rest of South Africans can see the value of starting from somewhere and building your career from there. So
absolutely.
Good to have you in the loft with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I had absolute fun.
Absolute pleasure. So right now, from music to fashion, Jeannie's on standby.
Horse races aren't just about placing your bets on the track. The 2016 Met is going to be just as competitive on the sidelines as racegoers dress up and parade their style according to this year's Rare Blend theme. We bolted right out of the gate, collaborating with SA's top designers to create our own Rare Blend of fashion for the event.
So after weeks of discussion and anticipation and fine-tuning the details of my Rare Blend look, my look for the 2016 Met is finally ready for fitting and I just can't wait.
Bonnie has collaborated with Klux CGDT to create the perfect look for the 2016 Met, a rare blend of masculine charm and feminine allure.
So gentlemen, the moment has finally arrived. My Rare Blend outfit for the 2016 Met is ready. Can you just recap the process till now?
The last time we met, we looked at fabric, we did the drawing, we discussed ideas, and now that we've sort of sewn it together, put it together, now we have to really kind of look at the detail. Obviously, when you go to real fabric, the fabric reacts differently to your pattern, so we have to see how that has reacted and if there's any sort of tweaks that we have to do. And also just to look at the overall effect, like, are there any details that we have to add? Do we need to bling it up? It's the sort of finer details we have to look at now.
Well, there's only one thing left to do. Try it on.
Perfect, so let's get going.
Yay.
Can't wait to see you in it.
Okay, so gentlemen, how do I look?
Definitely think we're on the right track. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous and I love the color on you. I think it pops beautifully. And I think what's great about the whole final result is that there's an element of sexy, but it's still sophisticated. So it's definitely race day appropriate.
I mean, I think perfect for the rare blend. I think it's elegant. I think it works. I think there are a few tweaks that we have to do just to make it sharp and put it all together.
It's playful but classic at the same time, and I love the surprise at the back. Everyone's gonna love seeing me go.
I know. I just think we need to maybe lift this shoulder a bit.
Yes.
Just to make it a little bit sharper.
And then I definitely like the idea of the pocket square, like we've discussed before. I think it will work. And then it will also give it a little bit more of that tailored tuxedo look.
Yes, I guess we just have to get the accessories right as well.
I think styling is key. I think this is where you can also make or break it, you know, with the headgear, the shoes.
Yeah.
Those are the important elements for the finishing touch now.
Yeah, but otherwise, I'm very excited.
Have a turn around fast. Let's see the back. See, that's my favorite part. A little bit more cheeky and the sexiness coming in. Absolutely.
Don't miss seeing the finishing touches to Bonnie's masculine chic look. Tune in next Thursday as we reveal the rare blend at the 2016 Met.
Oh, Bonnie, you're going to look incredible. We can't wait to reveal our rare blend looks at the 2016 Met this weekend. Join us at the Kenilworth Racecourse, Cape Town, this Saturday, the 30th of January, or don't blame us if you miss out. Horse racing, fashion, music. What else do you need from one of the world's most prestigious horse racing events? See you there.
Express yourself.
Clicks. Feel good. Pay less.
Welcome back to the kitchen right here on Afternoon Express. And I hope you're getting ready for the weekend. And I'm pretty sure each and every one of you has got a plan going on this weekend and want to impress somebody in the kitchen this weekend. Today we're making something super delicious, super simple, and it is so different and unique. We've taken our little steaklets that we've chicken fried, or chicken, we call it chicken fried. We're now going to add that into a sub with a really delicious slaw, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Exactly. You're going to help me out with this one.
Okay.
So we're going to work backwards. I'm going to make the dressing for the slaw first in the bowl. So what I've got here is, can you guess what this is?
It looks like liquid stuff, vinegar.
There we go, almost. It's the pickling liquid from pickles, jarred pickles.
Oh, I see. So that's just the stuff you've poured out of the empty jar.
Exactly. And if you think about it, it's already been seasoned. You can actually see some of the seeds that are in there already. Mustard seeds. And you see fennel seed. You got the bay leaf and some onions that are chopped up in there already. So
nice.
Job done. And obviously that's a bit vinegary. So you know I like balancing flavors. So to counteract that acidic flavor, we're going to go with some maple.
Ah,
there we go.
Very American, but also delicious.
Exactly. That's all we're about the flavor. If you can give that a mix for me, please.
With this?
There we go. And I will start adding the rest of the ingredients. So I'm using some very thinly sliced red cabbage.
Cool.
Spring onions. I love spring onions. I think I put it in everything besides ice cream.
And you've stripped these, right? You've cut these down the center.
Very thinly sliced. Also, what I like doing is keeping it in some ice water for about a minute before I put it in any dish or salad. What that does is it firms it up and keeps it like really green.
Nice and crunch.
And obviously the pickles.
Cool.
And lots. So we've got quite a smoky, sweet flavor on those on the steak. So I'm using quite vinegary flavors. What reason again? Just to cut through that rich flavor. So you mix that through. Brilliant job.
Now, can I swap tools with you? I'm allowed to use this?
I'm going to give you this guy now.
Thank you.
And now I'm moving on to the steak. So what I've done is I used a soft hot dog style roll.
Yeah.
What I did was just popped it onto the grill to get the char lines. Once again, not only does it add an extra charry flavor, but it crusts up the top.
Oh, nice. And you just kind of put that straight on the grill, straight on the grid.
Onto the griddle pan.
Yes.
On a very high heat, just for like 30 seconds.
Cool.
So we've got our glazed steak, and I'm going to fill it up for you. And it's quite spicy already. We use that Tabasco.
Yes.
So that pickling liquid over there is going to cool off that heat, that intense like Tabasco heat.
Well, it depends on what you put on, and I think some people might actually really like that sort of simple taste.
Exactly.
But this is quite liquidy to put in a roll.
We're not going to be dunking it on.
Okay, so it's
what
just
you
to
can
kind of
actually
flavor
do, as a tip, because we've got so much liquid in there, whatever you don't use, you can actually pack that into a jar and keep it as you would a normal pickle.
Oh, I
exactly.
see.
So we're not going to be adding the liquid to the actual buns. I'm going to ask you to start topping that up for me.
Cool.
Whatever liquid's left over,
we just leave in there.
Exactly.
So I get the vinegar is almost like a preservative of these things.
And that's the idea of pickling. We add a vinegar, not only does it add flavor, but it preserves the food.
Delicious. Okay, so this is something you just sort of eat with your hands, make it at home. You kind of leave it on a nice platter, and people can just pick them up as they go. So it is kind of messy, but also at the same time delicious. Who cares if it's so tasty?
Exactly. It's best when you eat with your hands, number one. And number two, if it's messy and it gets all over you, know it's been a good meal.
So this recipe, obviously, South Africa, is on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. Like I said, the recipe and the shopping list is also going to be available for you over there. Make your own variation, play with it a little bit. That's the point of street food and all of these food truck foods, that you can play, you can experiment, you can have fun. It is messy, but it's also delicious at exactly the same time. We all live in the loft, and we all live in a yellow submarine. Steak submarine, whatever. It's time for us to move from food to fashion. We've got the girls on the couch.
Packing light for a business trip seems easy, but in reality, it's a daunting task. When you can only fit the bare essentials, but want to look good for the big meeting, things can start getting a little tricky. We're joined by fashion director Alexa Chaffee-May, and she's got some very valuable tips on how to pack light while looking tight. Hi, Alexa, how are you?
Very good, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Now, I honestly travel quite a bit, and I feel like packing light in one of these bags that can fit into those overhead bins, nearly impossible. It's an art.
It is an art. It's definitely an art. Especially now with the new luggage restrictions, you can't carry more than 7 kgs, you can only have one bag with your carry-on, and there's dimensions into play, so no, you have to be, it's tactical now.
When I'm checking in, she looks at me and says, is your bag over 7 kilograms? I'm like, yeah.
And do you do that pretend thing where it looks, you make it look like it's really light, like it's light.
Yeah, it's so
but
light.
actually you're like
and
dying.
actually, and then I always get this look, can we weigh it? And that's when I know.
That's when you're in trouble. No, well, look, I mean, the easiest way to get it all into the bag so that you've got enough outfits for that week, or that, you know, that midweek kind of work and getaway, really you need to pack like in a color theme. And I always say it, but it is really, it's simple, but it's true. The least different colors and prints that you have to work with, the better. So I always like to go with black and white, especially when it's, you know, a working trip, because I feel like it's professional, it's conservative, but, you know, you still look stylish at the same time. With just maybe a couple little pops of accessories, or maybe, you know, a different colored jacket, you can really get the most out of what you're mixing into the bag.
Okay, so let's go through some fashionable items that we need to have in our emergency light bag.
The corporate bag here. No, obviously I like to use black as a base. You know, we already discussed that, you know, it's like your corporate color, definitely.
Exactly.
So great pair of black trousers. Now a black trouser you can wear, you know, maybe with a t-shirt if you're just meeting someone for a drink after the office.
Exactly.
Also great with a white shirt. So, you know, you can't miss the classics there. When it comes to tops, you've got, I always will take a little cami. So this is something, again, that you can change into in the evening. You take your black trouser, you pair it with a cami and a pair of heels. It's a little bit more, you know, zhuzhy for an evening out. So love that one. Then I like to do like a more edgy t-shirt. And again, this could be for maybe, you know, evening function, you know, maybe it still works. You don't want anything too low, but, you know, you can just play a little bit more with what you're wearing.
And leather's always a winner.
Leather is always a winner, especially when you're pairing with black. So you can wear black with black if you're going to mix the textures.
Exactly.
And then we've discussed the white shirts. I mean, really, do we even need to say anything more about that? Amazing with a skirt, amazing with pants. It's the same with a white blouse. This is a long-sleeved one. Again, I like the versatility of it. There's a lot of debate over wearing sleeveless things to the office, and I think especially if the environment is quite corporate, I think it's always best, you know, to cover up if you can.
Oh, really?
And then, yes,
See, I would never thrive in a corporate environment.
Absolutely. You know, especially, you know, you don't want if you're giving a presentation and there's armpit going on. You know, let's just, you know, keep it tidy.
What if you've got cute armpits?
Yeah, but I mean, when was the last time you were in an office, Jeannie? Let's be honest. And then, of course, the classic black dress. Great for the office, especially if it's, you know, a higher neckline, lower, you know, kind of a lower hemline, and also one that you can kind of dress up in the evening. Same with the black skirt. So if you're not into trousers, you're not quite into that such a power suit look, then try play with, you know, a beautiful jacket with a skirt, a little bit more feminine, some great neck pieces. I love these, and you see I've got these in plastic bags because I'm the most OCD person that you'll ever meet. But I just feel like when you are packing and when you have a lifestyle where you're doing lots of packing, this makes it is a really good like kind of saving time tip. You see everything in the drawer, you can just grab it, throw it in the suitcase.
Exactly.
It's not going to catch on your clothes when it's in a bag like this, and it means you can just pull it out when you need it in the evening. And then of course your classic blazer. So that's a definite must.
Everything's also very light.
Very light, very light. Obviously, there's debate with rolling things as opposed to folding.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm a folder, but I try fold it as few times as I need to.
Okay, I'm a roller, I must be honest, because I don't sit in enjoying steaming things when I've gotten to my
It depends on
destination.
the garment. You know, if you're packing corporate garments like pencil skirts, trousers, shirts, jackets, you'll find that fabrics like that, if you just very neatly fold them in the same presentation that you get like in a store, they actually won't crease as much as you think. Often it's, you know, smaller dresses and lighter fabrics you can roll and they'll just, you know, jump out perfectly.
All right. But toiletries, so how do we pack all of those necessities?
Okay,
Makeup,
so
toiletries.
all the necessities.
Because a lot of liquids we can't take over a certain amount.
Absolutely, and I'm going to just include, you know, accessories here as well because I didn't include these.
Oh, yes.
But when it comes to packing small things, you see I've got shoe bags.
Yeah.
Now, lots of people think that's crazy, but
No,
let
I
me tell
love a
you
shoe
something.
bag.
If you throw a shoe in with a jacket and it catches on that jacket and that's all you have to wear, you're going to really, really regret it. So I always, you know, manage to get a little shoe bag and also put them in plastic shopping bags if you don't have a shoe bag. But it will definitely, you know, protect everything there.
All good shoes come with shoe bags anyway.
Absolutely. And it's the same, you know, with clutches. You know, anything that's got hardware on it. And a clutch is a great one if you're going on a work week away because, you know, maybe in the evening you don't want to take your big tote bag.
Exactly.
So you want something that's a little bit smaller. Then when it comes to the, you know, the accessories, toiletries, you know, let's talk about that. Now, if you go on any global flight, they're going to prohibit how much liquid that you take.
Yeah.
But generally, even when I'm traveling locally, I love to decant into smaller bottles. It just saves space and weight, and you don't need to take everything in your arsenal of skincare products.
That's a lesson I need to learn. I
Just
throw
what
everything
you
up at the
need.
kitchen sink.
And I love, again, the clear bag as well, because, you know, when we go on these work trips, you know, as you know, like, there's not a lot of leisure times. You don't want to spend time scratching through the bag. And, of course, same clear bag with all my charging cables. All in
Brilliant.
one place.
I've donated so many chargers to hotels because I always leave them plugged in.
Keep your stuff together, keep it neat and tidy, and then you should leave with all your possessions as well.
Now, this is an important question because I sometimes play with two options. What do we wear on the flight?
On the flight. Now, I'm one that I always will travel in a leather jacket.
Yeah.
Every time. Because I like to take it with me because I think a lot of corporate wear is best worn, you know, in the evening if you want to like just look a little bit edgy, you want to meet someone for a drink, you pop that leather jacket over your little black dress or even over your trouser suit and immediately it's a lot more chic. So but I don't really want to put it in my bag because it takes up space. So I'll always wear a leather jacket over my shoulders when I fly. And then you do, when you're traveling, you know, going to meetings, you do need to be careful what you get off the plane wearing. You know, you don't want to be wearing, you know, a shirt that you're sitting there for 2 hours with the shirt creasing and then you get off the flight and now you're going to look all creased for your meeting. So rather wear something simple like a t-shirt and then just make sure your shirt is on the top of your bag and then you can just pop it on for the meeting. So it's also strategic.
I'm big into traveling comfortable, but always with a scarf. Also, airplanes get quite cold as well.
Yes, absolutely. No, freezing.
Yeah. Travel documents, what do we do with those?
Well, I know it's kind of old school, but I am one for a little travel wallet. You know, the thing is that when you travel, it is easiest to have all your documents in one place. Now, obviously, you have to be very careful that you don't lose all your documents in one place.
I know, that's
But
what
you know, these
scares
are
me.
great just for your ticket, so it's in one place. Obviously, your ID book or your passport. And then, you know, like just your essentials. Not every single store card that you own, but just like, say, like your Diners Club card, you know, the important cards that you definitely are going to need on your trip. It's good just to have them on hand.
Exactly. Okay, that's very, very good advice.
And you see how that all fits into one bag.
And not more than 7 kilograms. That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, Lex.
Always a pleasure.
I look forward to traveling more with you. Now, with all that said, we have a big announcement to make. Over the next 10 months, Afternoon Express will embark on a journey of exclusivity with Diners Club South Africa, and you are invited. Every month until October, we will be giving away an unforgettable Diners Club experience starting right now. So how does it all work? Well, take a look at this. You have lived, laughed, loved, achieved, received, and been rewarded. What's next? We are Diners Club. Join now. This February, you stand a chance of winning an unforgettable Diners Club experience with Afternoon Express. At the prestigious Saxon Hotel Villas and Spa in Johannesburg, prize includes accommodation and breakfast at the Saxon, lunch prepared by world-renowned chef Luke Dale Roberts in the company of me, Jeannie D, spa treatment and a whiskey and food pairing at the exclusive 1805. Visit afternoonexpress.co.za/giveaways to enter. Terms and conditions do apply and are available on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za.
Experience the world in a way less limited. Apply today at dinersclub.co.za.
Five Roses blends only the top 2 leaves of the finest Ceylon teas. Because nobody makes better tea than you and Five Roses.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. It is the weekend. We've had so much fun on the show today. Now it's the moment we've all been waiting for. Here is Can Skylark with No Good For Me from her second album, Overdrive. Take it away.
Oh, I've seen the show. Is she pretty? I hope so. 'Cause it will be such a shame if she ain't, you know. But we've run out of time. You do yours, I'll do mine. At the end of the line, so can't these go? I don't mind that I was the fool of your game. I do mind being the one you blame for things going wrong. For you did me wrong for so long. See, when you came into my life, I knew you'd be no good for me. You sure know how to play it cool. But all the fellas know, baby, who's the fool? Got no time to debate. It's a little too late. Gotta get my head straight. You're such a tool. See, I don't mind that I was the fool of your game. I do mind being the one you love for things going wrong. Come on now. Whoa, yeah, yeah, yeah. For you did me
Can Skylark, ladies and gentlemen, right here on Afternoon Express. Come and join us over here. So I think if she was in the town that you guys were visiting, Rob, it would be unfair competition, right?
Well, look, I don't want to say anything bad about our contestants. We had some pretty good talent there, but that was amazing.
Thank you.
I have a talent too. I have a talent too. Watch.
No.
Watch, this is my talent.
Oh my goodness,
Wow,
I didn't
that's
know you could
scary.
do that.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's weird, hey?
Oh, yeah.
Do I win? Do I win in this
Weird
loss?
is
In this?
definitely a word I would use, yes.
Please do it again. That's
It's
crazy.
quite cool.
How do you...
Ow, it's kind of sore at the same time. I think I'm get a chiropractor after the show too.
One thing Danilo can do right, though, is be in the kitchen with Clem. This looks quite amazing.
He impressed me. It was all him. It was all him.
No,
well
Clem's
done,
recipe is
Danilo.
amazing. So basically, this, guys, is a delicious dish. It's a nice snack that you can have for your friends. It's like a typical like street food kind of thing. Eat with your hands, messy, so that's fine. Rob, it's your favorite. So what we've kind of done there is chicken fried, but without chicken. Like, what do you call it? What's the meat we used?
Steak.
But it wasn't a steak. I was waiting for something fancy, something fancy, so we fried it for steak in some flour batter, and we've added a slaw on top of that. That's it. Simple.
Help yourselves. Now make sure you join us again on Monday for Afternoon Express and tune in early. During the first 15 minutes of the show, we're chatting to experts about the South African economy and what lies ahead for 2016. And in the kitchen, we're making a mushroom risotto.
Is that a rice? No, I'm joking. I'm kidding.
Sticky around.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. South Africa, have a great weekend from our show on Afternoon Express. We'll see you back in next week. Goodbye. Happy eating.
Ciao. Happy eating. Okay, who wants some food?
Coming up next week on Afternoon Express, we take a look at how to properly budget your finances this year, from managing your debt to understanding loans and interest rates. Animal communicator Anna Breitenbach joins us in the loft, along with some furry friends. And we catch up with Sean Marco and Mishka Patel, the brand new presenters of Pasela on SABC 2.
Another feel-good production.
Hi, YouTubers. Thank you so much for watching the show. Be sure to not miss another episode by clicking subscribe right over there. And we'll see you every day. Afternoon Express. Enjoy.